Hello everyone. So this first lesson is going to be on Cartesian coordinate systems. It's going to be a very quick lesson, as most of my lessons will be. The lessons are math lessons, and they will mainly start to transition towards math lessons that are relevant to physics students. Now, these type of mathematics can also be used for other subjects, but as you will slowly find out through later tutorials that maybe some of the stuff is not relevant to you. But the stuff that I'm going to review now quickly will be relevant to a lot of fields of study which talk a little bit about math. So the Cartesian coordinate system is a way that mathematicians use to find out a point in space, or try to draw a line in space or something like that. So there's a lot of uses for it, but the first thing we're going to do is just try to show you what exactly it is and what is it's used for. So the Cartesian coordinate system, we can think of it as you sitting at the center of wherever you are, so that would be this dot, and you can move in three directions. You can move in the x direction, which I'll label here, you can move the y direction, or the z direction. Now, all of these directions are completely different from each other, which means that if you move in x, you're not going to be moving in the y direction. If you move in z, you're not going to be moving in the x or y direction. What I'm basically saying is that if you were standing still and you start to head west, right? If you start to go west, you will not be going north or south, right? So you will not be going up or down. You also won't be going up in the air or down into the ground, which is the z in this case. So what we basically have here is the three dimensions that we can move in space. Now the center point, it looks like kind of the edge of like a corner of a box. You can see this, so this could be like the width, the length, and the height. Now, and these arrows represent that if we pick a point, like let's say we walk 10 steps in the y direction, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see that 10 steps doesn't really fall on this line, but this arrow just means that the line goes on forever. You know, we're not going to draw it to infinity, but we can say that this y direction goes on forever, this x direction goes on forever, and the z direction goes on forever. And in fact, these directions also go on the other way. So if I continue the x direction backwards, we can see that now if I was standing still and I move forward, I go in the positive x, but if I go back, I move in the negative x. Same thing if I start moving to the left over here. If I start going left, I'm going in the negative y, and if I go to the right, I go positive y. And then same thing with the z. So you can see how in a 3D diagram, when you have this, you can move in the positive x, positive y, and positive z, negative z. Now, let's show how you can plot a point. So, to represent a coordinate on this, because you can be anywhere, x, y, z, this middle point is also usually referred to as O or 0, and it just means that you're at the origin. And the origin is the coordinate x, y, z is equal to 0, 0, 0, which just means you're at 0x, you're at 0y, and you're at 0z. Let's say you move now to a point which I'll call P, 5, 2, 2. This is basically saying that you go in positive x 5 times, you go in positive y 2 times, and you go in positive z 2 times. If one of these numbers was a negative, you would just go in the opposite direction, of which would be the positive axis. So 5, it would mean that we jump 5 steps in the x direction towards the positive side. So if we scale it, we can say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 5 steps would take us to about there. Now that's not our point right now, because we've only moved in the x direction. From here, what we'll do is we will move 2 steps in the positive y direction, which means that we can see the y direction goes left to right. So 2 steps in the positive y direction would mean we go 1, 2 to the right, like this. So we're basically jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps in the x direction, 2 steps in the y direction, and in the z direction we go 2 steps. So maybe it's like climbing a ladder, right? So going 2 steps up, this might look a little different, but as you can see, first we move down, we move to the right, and then we go up 2 steps. So this is the way that you represent a point, and this point over here is P, 522.